Each week at It's Happening Out, we ask our host about what is important to them. But the twist is that it's got to be just in 30 seconds, or you're going to hear that bell. This segment is called What's on Your Mind, and it's sponsored by Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ plus pizza of choice for South Florida. What's on our mind is the deep dish Detroit-style pizza, or perhaps, if you're like me, the cauliflower thin crust. Jets Pizza has been with It's Happening Out for 4 years. They captured our attention with their promotion this season, a campaign called Bigger is Better. Wait. And of course, they're talking about their slices. What did you think I was talking about? So, Jets supports a huge variety of LGBTQ plus events and nonprofits. With more than 400 locations nationwide and 35 right here in Florida, they're considered one of the best franchise opportunities in America. And the South Florida LGBTQ plus community loves their pizza. And this is why Jets Pizza is our sponsor of What's on My Mind. So here we go. Cameron Glass, what's on your mind this week?
What's on my mind? Last week, I talked about hidden figures in the music world. This week, what's on my mind are modern figures who are out and spoken, empowering the youth, especially through their music. So like for someone specific, Randall Standridge is an amazing composer in the modern band world. And he does queer events such as the Florida Pride Wind Ensemble and other just general Texas FMEAs and other band music associations. And I just want to say thank you to him specifically for being open, queer, and an amazing person.
Excellent. And Cal Gajraj, what's on your mind this week?
So what's on my mind this week is the Trump indictments. And although, I'm really happy to see justice at play, it's a really sad time for this country. Because as a first-generation American, it's something that I take, with pride as being an American. And to see our country come to this point where we have now indicted the second, the president for the second time, it's sad. It's sad to see people still follow him. It's sad to see people still defend him. And even watching the networks across, all the different platforms, everyone's covering the same story. And then you look at one particular network and they're still talking about her emails and Hunter Biden and everything else except for what's going on. So
lock her up.
Yeah,
wow.
It's what America is, unfortunately. And Mark Pettit, what's on your mind this week?
I think for some queer people out there, this show is the only positive voice that they get to hear. And especially, I think, when you look at some queer folks who are outside of the U.S. I just saw this news story about the Israeli teen that was killed, who had been having death threats from her own family, that was just found dead. And there are actually some great organizations. The one that I want to highlight is called rainbowrailroad.org. They're a Canadian organization that if you're a gay person that is being persecuted, followed in a country where you cannot get along, they will help you get out. So I would encourage anybody listening from a place where you are not supported or where you feel threatened, or if you're just one of us and you don't feel threatened, go to rainbowrailroad.org and look and see what you can do for those folks.
Nice. Lovely. I love to hear that. And Auntie Mame, what's on your mind this week?
This week, children on my mind. I'll explain why. So we had a house party.
Ooh, she pregnant.
House party this weekend, right? So we had a house party, and some of our friends have children, and it was everybody could come to the party. And I was sitting there watching just everything happen, and I just started thinking so much about how we're portrayed now and how we're put out there as a danger to children, and that children shouldn't be around us. And I just want to thank any parent who has no issues, no qualms with just being around queer people, right? We were talking about them at Pride earlier. It's one of those things where you are thankful that there are people out there because you're hopeful that they're going to raise a better generation, And so I honestly, for parents, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for teaching your children to be open and loving and everything else. Because honestly, if you don't do it, I don't know who else could possibly do it. So
I can't imagine inviting a better guest to a house party than Auntie Mame, because he brings his own chicken wings. It's wonderful.
But just one.
Good.
It's delicious. I want to lick.
Not dry and stringy.
Baby.
And Faywa, what's on your mind this
Hey,
week?
what? So, pride and pronouns are on my mind, all right? Folks, pride is for all the letters, right? The LGBTQ plus community. We must do better with pronouns, folks. I have seen hosts that I respect and look up to, be on a stage and say, ladies and gentlemen. That's not right, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, they and thems. Gays, girls, they and thems. However you want to say it, okay? But saying, hey guys, is not okay anymore, all right? There are gender nonconforming people, there are non-binary people that's not, you're not talking to them and you're excluding them, all right? We must do better. I have heard this from drag queens on stages. We must do better. That's all.
Let's do better. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show from Happening Out Television Network. In the model of PBS and NPR, we educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the stories going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.